Devon Perry coming at you from Veritas Backstage. Today I've got Patty Belisle with me. She's our master injector, and we're talking about Botox, how to choose a great injector, and what to do if you've gotten results that you don't like. What do you do when a patient doesn't like the results that they've experienced at another clinic?
That's an interesting question because I'm faced with it a lot. I no longer really jump on the bandwagon to fix other people's work because, one, you don't know what they've had. The client doesn't know what they've had. You don't know what they've injected, but it's just educating them because you can get rid of it depending on what product they've used. And I'm always surprised that patients don't know this, and they walk around with a nodule or an area of tear troughs that they absolutely hate, and they think they have to live with it till the longevity of the product, and that's not true. It might take a few sessions, but you can absolutely reduce it and start from a clean palette. And a lot of times when clients do come to me that are unhappy, I don't rush in to try to alter it, add to, because that's not the best way to do it, because you're already starting out impaired because you do not know what they have or how much. So I will reduce it. I just whittle it away, and then I can start from a clean palette. You know, sometimes that's not always true because the lips, for example, if they just got too much in the lips, you can just kind of soften it, bring it down in a certain area, and it works quite well. But yeah, I am surprised though that patients don't know that they don't have to,
to live with an outcome if they're not happy with the look.
Exactly.
So it is important to keep note of what products are being used. Some of these fillers can be dissolved. You mentioned before that there are a few different drugs that can be used. They're all hyaluronidase ingredients. So talk about that. And you mentioned that there are people that you're surprised that they've been living with something that they're not happy with. So
the natural products, the hyaluronic acid products, that is a natural product. That's what is in our dermis that holds water in our skin. So these are very hydrophilic. They bring water to the area and plump up that way. So Hylenex is a brand that will eat up the hyaluronic acid if you've had too much. So it can happen in 1 to 2 days. It can happen in 4 to 7 days, depending on how much. That's where, as an injector, it's nice to know and go slow rather than just remove it all if they don't, need that. But the product works really well. And I've removed nodules that have been there for a year. Now, has it taken me 2 to 6 weeks to get it gone? Yes, but they've been living with it for a year. So I think there's a misnomer that it has to be administered so, within this time frame if you're going to get rid of it, because it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. Well, and going slow too is important so that you don't overcorrect.
Yes.
Right? But these medications, they generally begin working right away. Initially, you experience some tissue distension, so it will look to be overcorrected. Then the medication starts to take its effect. The hyaluronidase begins digesting the hyaluronic acid injectable, and in about 72 hours, you can really see a tremendous difference depending on how much hyaluronidase you've used.
Yes.
Of course. But it will have to be done in multiple sessions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going slowly is definitely a good plan.
Yes, and I love that we can do this because there is help for people that are overfilled.
Well, but this is why it's important too to know what it is that has been used within your skin. So hyaluronic gel fillers can be reversed, but if you use something like Radiesse, that cannot. And if you use hyaluronidase on someone who's been treated with Radiesse, then it really is going to do nothing, or it can cause some problems, right?
Absolutely,
because of the natural hyaluronic acid that's already
you can actually
in your skin.
deplete and cause divots, where it will eat up your own natural product. So yeah, it's something you just have to be aware of. And like I said, I'm very surprised because I always get the question, well, can you get rid of it? And when I'm doing a consult, I like to educate the clients and tell them, okay, because they're nervous. It's either something they've never done, or they've had a bad experience, or they've seen bad results. And so it's just educating them on what it is we're using. If you don't like it, we can take it away. You know, there's things that you can do, and then being conservative. Never overfill, because you can always add to. And I think that's the scary thing for clients, because they see bad results and they're worried. You know, so.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we do have something to reverse it.
Oh yeah.
And I would say though, if you've had a bad experience or an outcome, or you're wearing work that doesn't look best on you, maybe it's just not proportional, be prepared to take not just a couple of days, but I would say at least 2 weeks, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's just take the scenario of someone walks in and they're not pleased with their lip augmentation that they've had performed at another injector's office with a hyaluronic based product like Juvederm. Let's talk about, you know, what would need to take place in the timeline associated too. I think because we're also used to being able to go in for a really quick fix.
Oh yeah.
But product doesn't take away product, right?
Exactly.
So there's a process of elimination and then going back in and contouring in order to get things just right.
You can be looking at 6-8 weeks depending on, and it also has to do with how much information the client has. And a lot of times, because the Juvederm products, there's Juvederm Verbella, there's Juvederm Velour, there's Juvederm Ultra, there's Juvederm Ultra Plus. And so they get really confused thinking, well, it's Juvederm. But there's several different products in the Juvederm line. So it's figuring out what it is, you know, its method and what it's used for, and then slowly just titrating till you get the results reduced to where the client's happy and you're happy, that you can either start over or add to or just repair.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up that there are so many Juvederm varieties. I think that inexperienced injectors as well as patients begin feeling like or believing that Juvederm is Juvederm, right? It's all hyaluronic acid. But these are different mediums and they have different viscosities or weights. And
Absolutely.
so one may feel more like pudding, while the other is like Jell-O. And some have better places in the face than others.
Absolutely.
What I see a lot too is people I inherit from other injectors. They may have a thicker product in their lips than really what should be there. And so they end up with an unnatural
a natural
look.
Smile, a natural feel. Absolutely. I think you need to go with something softer, more flexible. And the beauty of this industry, they're always perfecting. They're always coming out with, you know, better products for different areas. It's not that one does all anymore. In fact, that's not good. You really want to pick the perfect product for the perfect area that you're trying to achieve.
Right.